Okay, class, lesson 12. We are getting to just the last couple weeks of the semester. So thank you for the time and effort you put in thus far, and let's see if we can have a strong finish. This week we're going to talk about social media, social networking, first how it relates to search engine optimization, and then talk about how it can help your business. So the two topics are certainly related this week, and we're just going to look at social media and social networking in slightly different lights in each of those assignments. Your project 4 is due. That's your AdWords optimization spreadsheet. I hope you've been working on it up to this point. You should be just collecting the last bit of data for that after section rather than in the before and after. And then we will go through project 5. You'll have a weekly reflection and a bi-weekly survey. Let's start first with social media for search engine optimization. Social media plays a huge part in the way customers view you, in the way you interact with customers. In the past, advertising was used to inform more than anything else, and you tried to do it in a way that would keep people's attention. Now, advertising is as much about entertaining as it is about informing. And if you establish a good relationship with your customer base on social media, then there's an entertainment factor. It's they enjoy what you put out on social media, and that makes them more likely to become customers. So the way social media relates to SEO is really about developing traffic. The higher the traffic that comes to your website, the higher your rank on Google. There's a few other strategies you can use for that, but think about social media in terms of that way. How you entertain your customers, how you make yourself interesting online, and thus increase your clicks and your visits to your site. There's a lot, as I said, there's a lot more discussion here about specific strategies on how to do that. Social media can be a powerful tool. It can also be very dangerous. You'll see plenty of stories online of companies who have had major setbacks because of poor use of social media. If you develop a social media presence and then you don't keep it up, that also looks bad. So there's ways you can hurt yourself with social media, but there's a lot of potential strategies you can use. Ultimately, for this assignment, you'll write a minimum one-page essay that outlines your social media optimization plan and goals in the short term and long term, and explain how you'll measure success. And that's really what this walks through: strategies, steps to success, and then how to measure that with Google Analytics. So after you go through those, make sure it's a minimum one-page essay that you turn in. Then in the social networking instructions, again, both of these are related. One will focus more on how social media relates to search. The other one is more about which social media platforms you'll use. And there's some instruction here about developing a social media plan that will be very closely related to what you just wrote in your one-page essay. But this will be more about which social media platforms you'll use. So you'll be asked to list 4 social media sites that you can use to market your website. And then you'll choose one and talk about specific steps you can take to market your website. And when you think about social media platforms, think of them in terms of how to reach your customer base. Everyone is on Facebook, but it is less popular with the very young generation are not on Facebook quite as much. Whereas in Snapchat, that's something that has been adopted very quickly by a younger demographic, maybe not the youngest demographic, and so you really reach a different audience depending on what social media platform you're using. And so consider that. Instagram is probably the fastest growing. Twitter is huge, though not quite the size of Facebook, although a little bit more conducive to businesses. So think a little bit about what makes sense for you, what platform works best for you, but also which one of your customers or what type of customer are going to be on the social media sites you choose. And these are not limited just to Twitter and Facebook, your more common social media sites. You can certainly expand to some of the newer social media sites and be a little bit more creative. Again, Project 4 is due this week. Let's go into Project 5 briefly. Project 5 and 6 are related, and they're really not challenging projects. They're not intended to be challenging. They're meant to be fairly straightforward. You'll go to a site called WooRank, and what WooRank is going to do is it's going to assess everything you have done as far as optimizing your website, being great on SEO, do you have a social media presence, etc., etc. And then it will give you a ranking for your website and tell you how well you've done so far, and then it will provide suggestions for the changes you can make to improve. And so it will ask you to go ahead and use WooRank. Now remember, you can only use it once per week with your site, WooRank. So if you go in there and you type in a different URL than your site, then you have to go and use another computer that is linked to another network to be able to use it again. So it allows your computer one use per week, and so we'll use it once for Project 5 and once for Project 6. But keep that in mind. You don't want to type in the wrong URL or use it for other websites, because we'll only give you that one use each week. With the list of changes, it will give you high impact changes and low impact changes, and there's also some middle of the road impact changes. And so that's a lot of students will ask, what do I do with these middle of the road impact changes? Because the high impact changes are rated at a 10, low impact changes are weighted at a 5. And then if you get something middle of the road, weight that at a 7.5, just in between those two. And what you want to do is your weighted changes should total 50 or more. And so you want to list either 5 high impact, 10 low impact, a combination of the two, some medium impact, however you want to list that, but your total needs to be 50 points or more of the changes that you make. And then you will upload an Excel workbook with that information on it. And you can track this on your own Excel workbook. And so you can, I know we in the past we provided a specific link to an Excel spreadsheet. You can do this on your own from working from a blank Excel spreadsheet. Just make sure you have this information on there, what your rank is. You want to copy the URL with your WooRank so I can easily click on that and see, and then make sure you list your score on there as well as the changes. It's a great exercise to go through, and it's great feedback on what you've done with your site thus far. That will be it for this week, just your weekly reflection and bi-weekly survey after that. So please reach out to me if you've got ideas, questions, concerns about social media.